Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
At Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, we're proud to be locally owned and operated because we're not just a bank, we're family. When you call, you'll be greeted by a friendly representative who's ready to discuss your banking needs, as well as offer our competitive rates on CDs and money market accounts. Our loan decisions are made in-house and never sold to a secondary market because our commitment is simple. You matter to us. At Lawrenceburg Federal, we offer all the conveniences of larger banks with a personal touch. Join us at Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, where community, trust, and service come together.
LUS is committed to our customers, from providing and maintaining energy-efficient utility services to friendly, helpful customer service. LUS is there. At LUS, we're always challenging everything we know, every day. We strive to improve efficiency and reliability while focusing on our responsibility to our customers and the community. It's our promise to provide dependable service to our customers every time. Because we don't just work in Lawrence County, we live here too.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody here to X Sports Live, brought to you by C&B Linen. AJ Good, joined by Cade Schultz and Michael Marks. And guys, we have been busy, very busy over the last couple of days. We're wrapping up the Babe Ruth season, and but Mike, yesterday you got to see some basketball over at Loretta, and this is summer, but they are playing a ton of games right now.
Yeah, it was really good to get out there and see the Lady Mustangs yesterday. I had Kelty Jennings with me, kind of learning the ropes on the production side of things, and we figured what better time than some summer basketball. And it was good to see the Lady Mustangs obviously returning, I would say probably 90, maybe 95% of their offensive production from last year. And then they bring in a group of, I think, 10 or 11 freshmen from a state championship middle school team the year before. So they looked really good. Picking up wins against Wayne County and Marshall County, but it was good to see the Lady Mustangs back in action, and you can tell hopes are going to be pretty high for this team come late this fall and into the winter and spring.
And you'll be back at it again tomorrow, going to Wayne County.
Yeah, we got the Lawrence County Wildcats, the boys team, getting some action in tomorrow. We have 2 varsity games and 2 JV games, if I can find that. I believe it's a JV game against Vina High School or Vina High School.
As Alabama?
Alabama or Mississippi won, but they start tomorrow.
Right, it might be Mississippi.
Tomorrow morning at 9:30 against Wayne County. Varsity back in action at noon against Vina JV, at 1:30 against Richland JV, and then to wrap the day up at 2 o'clock against Richland Varsity. So a couple of good matchups for the Wildcats.
Games all day, I guess, over there.
Yeah,
and they've played a lot. I know a lot of the Lawrence County boys are on the same AAU team, so they've been playing a lot throughout the spring. So it should be a good fun time. for the Wildcats tomorrow. Wildcats in the home of another.
Yeah, I would say it's going to be a lot of Wildcats up there tomorrow.
So are we streaming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I'll be out there. Me and Kelty once again. I'll call the games. She'll be back on production and kind of getting the feel for things. But she did a great job yesterday, and I can tell tomorrow will probably go just as smooth, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And,
awesome.
Caden, you and I have been. We got our final Babe Ruth games tonight. Pirates still undefeated. They've kind of been the class. I think they've got the deepest lineup, the best pitching defensively. And man, the first game, Mike, it was 7-3 Braves. A lot of the Yankees were out, and here's like the Braves. Okay, they're right on road to their first win. Then the Yankees pulled off 14 unanswered runs.
Oh wow!
It was 7-7 going to the fifth, where they scored 10 runs to make it 17-7, ending that game. And the Braves played great up until that point, but they got one more chance tonight. Unfortunately, they play the Pirates, and that Pirates A's game. Cade, we had, was it 3 or 4 double plays in that game?
Wow. And most of those was early.
Yeah.
I mean, within the first 2 innings.
I would say I think I maybe have only seen 1 or 2 more the whole summer, so it's impressive.
And then we had several squared up balls, several down the line, down the third base line.
Ripped down the third base line.
I mean, I'm not talking just
a little. No, it was
just pulled off the end of the bat, that barely squeaked fair. I'm talking barreled baseballs down the line. A couple was triples, and so that was very good to see. Very good to see these guys putting together some good at bats. And it was good to see even though the Braves lost that game, it was good to see them to put almost 10 runs on the board. So that was good to see. But looking forward to tonight and the final night of Babe Ruth baseball.
Yeah, and we're going to get some good weather. We only have one day affected by weather, thankfully, and Kate will be on the call for all of those tonight. I would be there, but unless you want a screaming 1-year-old and an arguing 4-year-old, I think it's best for everybody that.
I'd say we've had some fun episodes of Exports Live with them featured in it. So
they were almost here today, and one of them would have been here during her nap time, and that would have been awful for everybody right then and there. But guys, let's get to the big news that happened yesterday. I should say the Sorsby, Brenden Sorsby there at Texas Tech. He is now he is withdrawn, or Texas. I really don't know. Did he leave, or did Texas Tech make him leave?
The official report is a mutual parting of ways, but
I think so.
I think this is a big win for college football as a whole.
Yeah, it's I think the death blow for that, guys, was the Big 12 getting involved, because they were filing a lawsuit and they were going to make sure that this guy did not see the field. And I think Texas Tech knew in the end run, this wasn't just going to be a football thing. This was going to be an everybody thing, and they got out when the getting was good.
And it probably was a conversation between maybe some administrators and Sorsby, just to realize that, from Sorsby's point of view, he obviously got in trouble, but he just wanted to make a couple $1 million, go play college football for one more year before going to the NFL. But obviously, it looked like Texas Tech was ready to put all sense of integrity on the line to keep them there. But when you have the entire conference kind of ganging up on you and saying, listen, we don't want to play you if you're going to play with ineligible players, it's kind of a step you have to take.
Yeah, and I think Texas Tech knew this was going to be a bad road to go down, because now you've got all these other schools coming out and saying, okay, well, you bet, we're not going to play in softball, we're not going to play in baseball, basketball, all of these things. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, this is going down a road. Now they're playing we made the right decision for us. Actually, I think at the end of the day, guys, their hand was forced in this situation.
Right. Yeah. And you can say it was a mutual thing, but I think at the bottom line, like you mentioned, there had to be talk between Sorsby and the administration, and he was probably told, hey, listen, this is where we're at. You've got to go.
Yeah. And this isn't,
and we're not going to say, hey, we're letting you go. We're not going to put that out there, but it would be best if you would cooperate with us.
Yeah, I would say I think that was probably mutually kind of saving face, so to speak.
For sure.
And this wasn't a guy that was Texas Tech wasn't going to come in, number one in the country, heavy favorites to win a national championship. And I think because of that reason, obviously Texas Tech was not going to put their entire athletic department in jeopardy because of this. It was a good move. I kind of hate it to a certain degree because I was really excited to see what Sorsby was going to be able to do this year before all the stuff came out. But it looks like he's going to enter the NFL supplemental draft now.
Yeah, and where he could go undrafted there. Yeah. Like I said, guys, I've watched him play some games over at Cincinnati. They had a good year, but nothing really stuck out with me that made me go, oh man, this guy's going to be a first round pick, and he's going to be the difference as to why Texas Tech will make a run in the CFP. None of that.
And see, I was so confused about how he got so highly rated, because if you look, Cincinnati last year opened up the season against Nebraska. He threw for 90 yards in that game. It was not a good game whatsoever. Right. And he had a couple of big games against Iowa State, who was injured. Those were some of Cincinnati's big wins when they started playing the BYUs and the teams like that down the stretch. You could see them really starting to struggle.
Yeah. So it just is what it is. I think it's best for everybody. The sport can kind of breathe a big sigh of relief right there, guys. So, whew.
Yeah, maybe the death of college football that some people thought this was going to be.
And like you said, and once something like this happened, and I think we mentioned it a couple weeks ago when we first started talking about this ordeal, it wasn't just gonna, it was gonna snowball and it was gonna eventually get bigger than just.
Well, because people were going to go back and try to sign anybody they can. Doesn't matter if they're pro or not, just to try to build up their rosters.
Right. So,
good on Texas Tech for trying, seemingly at least making a stand here and moving on.
But it certainly opened a lot of people's eyes as to what's been going down in college football.
Right.
Because this
are probably behind the scenes.
Yeah, this probably won't be the first time this happens, unfortunately. I think because it was Texas Tech, this guy did have a history and all of that. I think that's what led to where we are.
Yeah, 100%. If it was a different university, let's say maybe, I don't know, let's say USC. Well, that's not a good. Just pick a college that hasn't gotten a bunch of bad things. Well, I would say we'll just go like that, because there's a lot of colleges that have a lot of enemies, but we'll say some university and try to do something like this again. Try to bring somebody back. This was going to blow up, but I think because of Texas Tech, because of the softball things and how much they spent in NIL last year, they already kind of had the sights pointed at them, and this was kind of trying to seemingly load the weapon, we'll say.
Yeah, certainly. So I think we all were better off without having this, and I think everyone can just breathe a big sigh of relief right now. So
and it may open the eyes to, like you said, and allow some other colleges, some other universities, administrators, staffs to look and be look closer and have more of a closer look on some of their players, as far as some of the things that they do, outside of wearing that football helmet, so to speak.
Yeah, and that I would say we talked about with all the players getting arrested at Georgia. They don't have a good look, and it used to be that way at Florida, and some in some cases a little bit like that at Alabama. When you start breaking the rules, a lot of people like to gang up on you. But I think that this provides, and AJ, I see you kind of pulling it up. I think this provides an exciting opportunity for Will Hammond. He was the backup quarterback last year at Texas Tech, and
he was the starter originally, then got hurt, and then the other guy came in.
I would say so. They kind of had a 2 QB system with him and Baron Morton, because they were both kind of banged up last year. Ended the season with a torn ACL, but just got back to throwing, I believe, a month and a half ago. But listen, he had a pretty exciting season. Ran for 300 yards, threw for 700 in about 5 or 6 games. So I think it could be a very exciting season for him. I wouldn't count Texas Tech out.
No, I mean, they're ranked right now 11th in a lot of people, so that's with or without Sorsby. And when you look at their schedule, which I'm pulling up right now, you got Abilene Christian, then you're at Oregon State. Those are wins for the most part. Should be wins, and then you got you got Houston on a Friday night at home. Who knows? Houston was really good last year, so that'd be a good test. But then you play Sam Houston, should be a win. You go to Colorado before your off week. Then after that, guys, they've only got one preseason top 25 team on their schedule because they're home versus Arizona State, at Cincinnati, home versus Arizona, home versus us.
That's a long trip.
At Oklahoma State, at Baylor, and then home versus TCU. This is a very favorable schedule.
Yeah, I was about to say,
this
going
is a
into
10-win team even without Sorsby.
I was about to say, going into that bye week, following that Colorado game, they could very easily be 5-0 heading into that bye week, going up at, I believe Arizona State was that game out of the bye. So it's I think the hopes are still going to be very high in Lubbock.
Yeah, if that looks like a very winnable schedule, even without Sorsby there. So
absolutely.
They got very far with minimal quarterback play to begin with. But when you look at the right now preseason top 25, Ohio State's 1, Oregon's 2, Georgia's 3, Notre Dame's 4, Texas is 5, Indiana 6, Miami 7, Ole Miss 8, A&M 10, A&M 9, LSU 10.
That seems like
really good teams. Right there.
I would say this next season in college football, I think, is going to be talent-wise one of the better ones we've seen. Now, I get we're kind of getting out of the age of the super seniors, but I think we're just starting to see talented upperclassmen, and I think next year is going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, and Tennessee right now at 25. What do you guys think about that right now?
There's a lot of question marks coming into this year, and I feel like I've probably said that every year that Josh Heupel's been around. The one season that didn't have a bunch of question marks was kind of 2022, and we see how well that season went. But you don't really know what's coming in at quarterback. You have the freshman, the Faison Brenden, who could be really good. Could it be another Nico situation? That's kind of what every Tennessee fan's holding their breath about. Do you go with the talented freshman that came in last year in George McIntyre? You bring in a new defensive coordinator. I think the defense is going to be miles better than it was last year. And if it can make that jump, I think Tennessee could be an exciting team this fall.
Well, that's the main thing. Like you just said, if the defense can be
show some bit of a pulse.
That's where you gotta. That's where you gotta improve the most on. If you can score 28 to 31 points a game in the SEC.
You'd like to think that can be enough.
You would like to, but at the same time, if your defense can go out there and keep, you're also playing other SEC teams. You're going. Hopefully they can improve that defense and just lock down.
They'll get a good test week 2. They open with Furman, then they're at Georgia Tech. It says Bobby Dodd, aren't they moving that to?
No, it is back at Bobby Dodd. They did move. They moved. They had it moved at one point to Mercedes-Benz, but they got it back at Georgia Tech. So let's keep these big out of conference games on campuses.
And the home versus Kennesaw, then they're home versus Texas, home versus Auburn. At Arkansas, home versus Bama, at South Carolina, week off, home versus Kentucky, at A&M, home versus LSU, and then at Vandy. That should be a wild one.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking that weekend before Thanksgiving, if Tennessee's say maybe 8-2, and you got maybe it's 9-1, 10-0 LSU coming in, how crazy Knoxville will be that weekend.
Whew.
That might be one I try to head up there for. It's Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. For you, Cade, this is your schedule over there at Vandy. Home versus Austin Peay, home versus Delaware. Delaware is actually a pretty decent team. Then NC State, man, they keep racking up all these ACC teams coming in. At Auburn, at Georgia, home versus Ole Miss, home versus Arkansas, at Kentucky, week off. At Mississippi State, home versus Bama. At Florida, home versus Tennessee.
Man, on the road a lot.
And you and they're playing a lot of really good quarterbacks because you got Nick Minichucci up there at Delaware. He threw for 3,700 yards last year, was top 10 in the country. And then you got CJ Bailey at NC State. He was slinging it around the yard. I believe he was just over 3,100 yards as a sophomore. So could be some big.
I think something big for him too is gonna they're gonna have to capitalize there on the 3 weeks prior to their bye week. They're away, and then they have their bye week, and then they're away.
Yeah,
they need that. They're gonna have
can't let the bye week beat you twice.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're gonna have to capitalize on one of them 2 weeks. They can't go 0-2 there.
Right.
Vandy's kind of got a similar problem. Maybe not necessarily a problem at Tennessee, but they have a youngster, 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis. That's going to be the guy seemingly this year.
Yeah,
I would say, do these 5-stars, really kind of play up to their level, or do they struggle? Right. Being a freshman in the SEC,
right? Yeah,
and you got to find who's your next quarterback. That's
exactly
that's the big one. I mean, Pavia was such a big part of what you guys were trying to do.
Well, and now you got the Curtis kid from I believe he went to, it was either Nashville Christian or Middle Tennessee Christian one. But he was in Nate Bargatze's movie as part of his NIL deal. So love that, and I would say I hope he has a good season.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And another thing I just noticed, I'm kind of clicking around the SEC stadiums. They're taking the Florida game to Mercedes-Benz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing some construction on the stadium in Jacksonville, so they're doing like a round trip. Like they're playing in, it's in Atlanta one year, and they might be playing it like in Orlando, and then I think one's in like Greenville or North Carolina, somewhere in North Carolina. Or maybe Charlotte, maybe Raleigh, something like that. Not sure, but I think one of them is going to be played there.
Okay.
For all of Florida's home games.
No, just the Florida Georgia game.
Just they play in Jacksonville.
Okay, yeah.
That stadium has been renovated so many times. Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep up with all of it.
Okay, so it's going to be in Atlanta this year, Tampa next year, back in Jacksonville in 28.
Okay, all right. Not bad. The world's largest cocktail party.
Maybe getting larger.
Maybe getting a little bit larger. Well, guys, coming up next, the pro sports from the winter and fall seasons are now complete. We'll discuss the New York Knicks and the Carolina Hurricanes as your NHL and NBA champions when we return on Exports Live, brought to you by C&B Linen.
Being raised in Tennessee, we believe in the importance of family and community. Creating a positive experience at our family-owned and operated business is one of the ways we share that belief.
Being in an accident can be extremely stressful. When it came time for my repairs, Mashburn's made it easy.
I am lucky to have a wonderful company in my community like Mashburn's Collision Center. It's reassuring to know that I'm in good hands because their work is second to none.
We pride ourselves that the Mashburn name is one of the most trusted in Lawrence County since 1981. Mashburn's Collision Center. Let our family take care of yours.
Shop McMaster's Home Gallery for furniture, appliances, and more. And shop quality, shop convenience, shop service, shop local. A family-owned business with a long history of serving the region. We're a one-stop home furnishings destination. We feature brands you know, competitively priced, backed by professional installation and service. You can trust that we'll take good care of you before and after the sale. For your home, shop smart. Shop McMaster's Home Gallery today.
Got primary care? Find your way to better health with primary care by One Stop Medical. With decades of combined experience, you'll find a one-on-one relationship just like the old days, but with the convenience and technology of today. When One Stop Medical does primary care, it's the best. Call today for an appointment and find your way to healthy living. Serving Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, and Hohenwald. Phone 931-244-8220. Primary care by One Stop Medical at its best.
From our humble beginnings to today, Parks Lumber Company has continuously served Lawrence and surrounding counties for over a century. Although we started as a small lumber yard in 1896, we have grown to include everything you need to make your dream project come to life. No matter your building needs, our experienced staff will be with you every step of the way to ensure you receive the highest customer service and attention to detail you deserve. Visit us at 106 2nd Street or on Facebook. We guarantee you will see working with PLC is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
All right, guys, welcome back here to Exports Live, brought to you by C&B Linen, AJ Good, Kate Schultz, Michael Marks, and guys, the NBA and the NHL season is wrapped up. But first, we're going to start off with what a crazy Game 5 there in San Antonio. Just when you think the Spurs are going to force it to a Game 6 and go back to New York, and just like you said, Mike, it felt like a 1990s NBA Finals. It was physical. Every possession meant something. Jalen Brunson, though, what a performance. Finds it, goes out, gets him 45, and hits every clutch shot that they need down the stretch.
I mean, watching Jalen Brunson, because I was a big fan of the Villanova teams that he was on. I didn't think he was even the best player on those teams. Now, looking back, he probably was. But I didn't even think he was the best player on those Villanova teams that won the national championships in, I think, 15 and 17 or 16 and 18, something like that.
I know that 16.
But I didn't think he was really that crazy. And then he went to Dallas and kind of had a bit of a slow start to his career. It was good, but he goes to New York, becomes a fan favorite. And then he's the guy that you can ask to go drop almost 50 in Game 5 of the finals to win you an NBA championship. And it had been, 53 years for the Knicks?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insane.
1973. That's when the year my parents got born. Jeez.
Got born.
Got married.
Oh, there wow. But I would say, I think Willis Reed was on the Knicks the last time they won. It was when he came back with like a torn ACL or something like that and played a couple minutes. So good for the Knicks to finally win a championship. I feel it feels crazy that it's been that long, but man, just insane.
You know, with Jalen had that probably the biggest game of the finals he had was game 5. You know, struggled a couple of other games with shooting. You know,
well, he almost got pretty injured in Game 1. He had really close to, I think, a knee or an ankle sprain, something like that.
He shot around, 30-40% from the field a couple games. You know, not just the greatest, but obviously made things happen, played some good defense, and made some big time shots. And when it mattered, he got the job done. And it definitely mattered here in Game 5, almost scoring half of what the Knicks needed to get the job done. So great job to the Knicks. And you know, the young Spurs team just is what it is. You know, like you mentioned, I mean, it kind of seemed like, you go back to what Fox did on Wednesday night. You know, and you know, a bunch of people will probably say, well, what if, well, you can think of what ifs all day long. You know, if he wouldn't have tried to attempt that layup or whatever, and they would have evened the series to apiece, you know, what would have happened? Well, what happened was supposed to happen, and the Knicks was supposed to win, you know. So I'm glad to see the Knicks come out with the win and Jalen get that MVP there.
But listen, the Spurs are going nowhere. Out of the 9 guys that played in this game, Luke Cornett at 30 is the oldest player. 6 of those 9
they're young.
Were born in the year 2000 or later. Okay, that's impressive. They're going to be around for a while. I'm glad the Knicks were able to get it done, though. I think that really kind of I think it was big for their coach, Brown, to be able to, you know, did not have a great end in Sacramento, and you know, tried to work it out with De'Aaron Fox and things like that. Goes to New York, finds his new point guard Jalen Brunson, and wins a title with him in year number 1.
And you know, because things did not end well, basically forced out by LeBron and all of LeBron's people, and you know, there's been all kinds of history with LeBron forcing guys out and bringing in his own guys. So it's good to see a guy like that
get a second chance,
and get a chance at some redemption.
Because it feels kind of funny that other than, I guess, JJ Redick up to this point, because he hasn't had enough time to complain about it, that everybody that, you know, LeBron is kind of, you know, coach for, it feels like they don't really get a second chance. That they, you know, coaching him one time is enough, and they don't really want to get
multiple chances. This is the biggest one. But you look at it, Anunoby was great. Karl Anthony Towns is the leader in dumb fouls.
I mean, oh my goodness,
this guy should have been. If he has a decent game, this game is not close.
He had 4 fouls right out of halftime.
He's 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, just 2 points. He did have 10 rebounds. I mean, he's just, he does so many dumb things on the court, but like when he's good, he gets you 25 and 10.
He won them the first 2 games of the series.
Basically.
I mean, I think back of when he was at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I loved watching when he was young like that.
And we kind of butchered that trade when it happened. I'm like, man, this guy, he's lazy, does so many dumb things, but this season and in this playoffs, he really impressed me with a lot of things. But this game, it's just like, every podcast I listen to, sports podcasts, like, my gosh, this guy is either the best thing on the court or the biggest liability on the court.
Well, you think about, too, going into this finals, I mean, you had Wemby.
Yeah.
Who he was matched up with. So you had that thought in your head about him being a liability, him being just kind of, you had in your thoughts and your mind about him, you know he could make some dumb fouls, he could make some dumb decisions at times. And then you put on top of that, okay, he's going to have to deal with Wemby at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, then you're like, how's he going to get it done? What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
But, we see. I mean, the Knicks was able to take care of them 4-1. So
Brunson was again just amazing. They only got 9 points off the bench. 9 of their 94 points came off the bench. You look at all the trades that they made: Bridges, Hart, Cat, Anunoby coming over from the Raptors. I mean, just every move that they made just worked out
like
perfectly.
The right one.
And I don't know what their contract situations are, but if the bulk of this team is coming back, you gotta like their chances next year as well.
Well, I feel like as long as they have that trio of Hart, Bridges, and Brunson from Villanova, that's going to really hold the thing together. But Cat was huge in those last 2 games. His offense wasn't there. I would say only scored 2 points in Game 5 and didn't have many in Game 4. Yeah. But he held Wemby to 19 in Game 5 and 24 points in Game 4, and I think that was a big piece in helping the Knicks win this.
And like you guys said, this is a young Spurs team. The bulk of that group is coming back. They've got some, what do you do with Fox? Because, Dylan Harper was so good, 25 points off the bench there in Game 5, and he's been good the bulk of the season. That might be your new point guard. Maybe Fox goes to a different role, maybe coming off the bench. I mean, he can still give you good minutes, but
for sure
he reverted back to Sacramento, Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox, which got Mike Brown fired in the first place. And he kind of reverted back to some of that.
I would say he really won the Knicks the finals twice over. I mean, he got Mike Brown fired in Sacramento and then goes to the other team for this finals. He's still 28, so I don't know if he's going to want to take that role as being the bench point guard, especially and being the high level recruit out of high school. Goes to Kentucky, is a top round draft pick. It was the 5th pick in his draft. He's going to want to go be the starter somewhere, but I think he's kind of maybe in a spot where he would need to sit maybe a little bit, kind of do the Russell Westbrook in sort of a way, take kind of a back seat and really try to build yourself back up, because Russ has sort of had a little bit of a resurgence there the last couple of years of his career, and I think Fox may be ready to do something similar.
Yeah, maybe.
And I've seen some things where they may even look at trading him, or already have looked at some opportunities there. I've seen the Raptors are in it. Some possibilities of him going to the Raptors, but who knows? Who knows what may take place?
Yeah,
it looks like they owe him about $49 million next year.
Owe him a lot of money.
Just that much?
Just that much, yeah. Man, talk about bad sports contracts. This may turn into one of them.
I mean, he did help him get to NBA Finals.
No, no, you
can't.
Well, it's kind of like in the sports world. We'll talk about it in a minute with the Stanley Cup Finals. You win and you lose in the finals, and it feels like you shouldn't have even made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Well, speaking of, let's go to it. After the first 4 games were just so much fun and so impressive. Game 5 dominated by Carolina. Game 6. Dominated by Carolina. Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions, and Brenden Moore comes into it for Carolina, basically with his job on the line. It was Stanley Cup Finals or bust. They didn't necessarily need to win it, but they get there and they win in 6, and Brenden Moore gets to keep his job.
Well, you look at it, and it was crazy that it felt like the loser of the Stanley Cup was going to get fired, which feels crazy. You make it to the championship, but and your job's on the line, but that was a Carolina team playing for their coach,
right?
And you could tell the last 2 games that it felt like after game 3, game 4, they really had a good feel for Vegas, and you could tell they just dominated those last 2 games.
And Carolina scored 3 or more goals in every game. You know, and then that last game, they didn't allow Vegas. I mean, they shut them out.
Yeah.
Is that a term used in?
Yeah, shut up. Yeah,
a shutout. Okay, or in hockey. So they shut them out. The only game in the finals.
Yeah.
That either team did not record a goal.
Yeah.
So they took care of business, to say the least, in that game 6, and it was fun to watch. It was fun for me to watch, and just getting into watching some hockey. And I'll be excited for when next season comes around to start watching a little more Preds. I'm going to start watching a little Nashville Preds. That's the closest, I guess, to us. I know. I don't guess they're. I mean, are they even that?
Give or take.
Yeah.
It kind of depends.
I mean,
AJ's over.
I mean, I'm a Columbus guy because that's next to where I grew up, so that's my team. But,
right.
But who knows? I mean, Carolina, Vegas kind of came out of nowhere. Even though they're pretty talented,
but they really had to make a late season push.
Yeah, they really did. But they played their best when they needed to play their best, and they were pretty much a very dominant team getting to that point. They got a lot of those guys back. But another thing, like you saw it in that game. They missed a lot of opportunities in Game 5 and Game 6, like open nets. There was one there, I think, with that's strike 3. Oh, strike 3, excuse me. Sorry, West Virginia played in Troy. You're getting my live reaction 0-0 in the second. But, they're down 2-0 there in Game 6.
Win or go home.
Yeah, with 3 minutes left, and they get a 2-0.
Yeah.
And they give it to Eichel, and Eichel hits the crossbar on a shot that they score that goal because their passing was great. They got all of Carolina's defense bunched up. Boom. You get your 2 stars right there. And Eichel hits the crossbar. Yeah, I knew that Carolina was winning the cup at that point.
And it was, you just kind of had that feeling. And honestly, heading into Game 6, just the momentum Carolina gained in Game 5, I felt like really carried over. And I know we wanted this to go 7, but it was kind of fitting the way it ended.
Absolutely. Well, guys, now we go into, we're now kind of focused on Major League Baseball. Just a quick look at the standings before we go. Yankees there at the top of the American League East. White Sox in the tie with Cleveland. It's hard to believe they're 6 games above 500. Seattle just a game over 500, leading the West right now. The West is very close. The Braves, 21 games over, 46-25. Milwaukee has gotten a good little season surge here. They're 17 games over. Yeah, over 500, 4.5 up on. After that was going to be kind of a very close race. It's now that they kind of broken away, and the Dodgers 8 games up on the Padres there in the West. And just a quick look at the wild card. If the season were to end today, Tampa and Cleveland and the A's would get in the West. Excuse me, in the American League, and the National League, it would be the Cardinals, Phillies with a tie between the Padres, Nationals, and Cubs.
This season has been really weird in Major League Baseball.
How's your Cubs doing, brother?
39. They just finally won a series.
It's been rough going.
God performs miracles, Cade, all the time. And
PCA hit for the cycle,
and he hit for the cycle, and they beat the Rockies last night. So they got the Rockies at home.
The Rockies has been
a little better.
A little better this year. I mean,
I would say they're not
for real.
No, I would say they're a lot better than I thought they would be. Yeah,
we've won 3 out of our 4 out of our last 5, I do believe. So we're kind of putting some things to get 5-5 in our last 10. So, man, good at home, not so great on the road. But hey, it's 72 games into the season, and you're 3 games over 500. Remember when the Braves won the World Series?
They were
below 500, not a good team.
I was about to say, I think it was somewhere around this time where that. What was it? Was it
August when they really caught fire?
Was it the Mets network that called the Braves coming back, or the Mets blowing it one that year? It was either the New York network or the Atlanta network said this is usually about the point where we can call this. He's like, I get it's June, we can call the season. It's over. The Mets are going to win the division, and then the Yankees or the Braves just went on a tear.
Yeah,
that pretty much sounds like. That sounds like a Mets broadcast if I've ever heard one.
Well, hey, I think maybe Tampa is one of the more interesting stories in baseball. 41-28, only a +7 run differential. You look at some of these other teams atop the division. You got the Yankees that have a 107 run differential. Same with the Braves. The Brewers are 112. The Dodgers are 142 runs better than their opponents. The fact that you can be that much over 500, and they had a pretty good hold on the division until a couple weeks ago, and only have a +7 run differential.
And once that All-Star
found a
break
way to found a way to win them close games.
All-Star breaks, middle of July? That's when you really need to start ramping it up. And I think the Braves have been the most consistent team along with the Yankees. And if my Cubbies can, string some series wins together, you just got to get in.
Right.
You got to get in, and anything can happen from there.
And I think the most entertaining thing that happened at the Red Sox game was a bunch of Scottish fans from the World Cup where
they were having a ball.
I would say they were singing "I Would Walk Up at 500 Miles" or whatever.
Yeah,
and that was great.
Yeah, they are having a ball. Well, guys, I will wrap it up for Exports Live, brought to you by C&B Linen. Kate and I will be back tomorrow, and then we'll have another show on Friday. Mike, again, is busy at Wayne County, and then the whole crew will be back on Friday. So for Kate, Michael, and myself, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.